Okay, here we go. So got a little break here and then back into the rock work. So again, very, very high embankment here. The creek that we just looked at basically comes down the side of the ridge and then basically skirts along the ridge that we've been kind of curving around. Time is it? 12 o'clock. Jeez. We did a crazy long hike yesterday at Linko, and back at it today. We're going to be done fairly soon. It's nice when you're able to sort of pre-record everything. So we already did all the culverts and the some of the ballast pit that's coming up here. All right, so back into the rock work here. So leaving the embankment behind us here, all the rock fill that went into it. Hang on a second. So you can see some of that rock fill here. You can see kind of there's a little bit of a natural sort of little valley here in the rock, and so they've used some of the rock fill to fill it up. Curious to see if there was a culvert or something in there. Okay, come on, Lynn. Okay, all right, rock cut again. This one's not particularly high. Right here, maybe 6-7 feet, a little bit taller here, maybe close to 10. This side here is very obscured by all the trees, and it's kind of neat. You can see how the trees are actually growing into the crevices in the rock. Nature's kind of amazing what she's able to do, right? And the adaptability of the trees and the plants and things like that. Look at this birch here, again, growing right out of the crevice in the rock cut. So again, probably in that 7-8 foot, a little bit taller here. Here, probably closer to 10 feet. The very jagged, irregular nature of the rock as well too, kind of neat to see, right? Just how, you know, how the blasting worked, and there's a tie plate down there, and basically how the rock kind of came apart. This one's very obscured. Wow, it looks like I'm drunk here because I'm weaving around. So again, not quite sure how much they took off, but you can basically see up here, it's fairly high. So I don't know if they would have taken all this material out, but it rather appears like that. And so here the rock cut kind of starts to peter out a bit. Okay, let's zip you ahead a bit here, and then there's, guess what? There's gonna be another rock cut. Yeah, don't eat the partridge guts. You just barfed already. So just a little bit of rock work here, tiny little bit. And you can see all the jack pines that are growing up alongside the grade. So big, when Grand Trunk built this line, they got some really big land grants from the Ontario government. There were numerous blocks of land, okay, quite a number of, I don't remember, thousands of hectares of land that they got. And basically it passed from them to eventually to CN. And then I think CN sold them off to the logging companies. I think Abitibi and then some of the other ones. And so then Eventually now they're owned by Wagner, and I think they got them for like a song, like basically. It was not a lot of money, and a little bit of a controversy there because apparently the Ontario government had an option to buy back the land, and that didn't happen, and some people are a little upset about that. Because again, this land was given to the railway companies, basically by the government, but by the people of Ontario, and people felt that it should revert back to the people of Ontario. Oh, I got a marker here. Okay, so kind of a neat little find this morning. So I was just riding along, and sometimes things just sort of catch your eye. And so you'll see that there's a marker here, and I recognize those because those are what they often use to basically mark where culverts were located. So basically just a piece of not an angle iron, but basically a little post there, and they were painted white, and then they would have the mileage on them, so basically indicating to where the section crews where the culverts were. And so we kind of found one that we hadn't seen, so we're going to go down and take a look at that. All right, so we've made our way down from the level of the grade, which you can see way up there. I don't know, we've got to be 30 feet down, maybe a little bit more. So what we have here is kind of a bit of an unusual find. It's the first time that I've seen a culvert like this on this line. So what we have is probably about a 3-foot diameter segmented concrete culvert. I'm guessing that a lot of these were replaced on this line because, again, I have yet to see one. This is the first one that I've seen. I've seen a ton of these on the Kinghorn line. But again, this is the first time on this one. So you can see that it's not in particularly great shape. The first piece here has just been completely shattered. And then if we look down here, you can see there's considerable sag. There's a lot of displacement in the joints of the culvert. We're going to go to the other side and have a look. But again, it's one of the reasons why they stopped using these ones, because they tend to sort of come apart and displace. So we'll go have a look on the other side. All right, so we've worked our way down on, I guess, the western side here. And so kind of interesting to see what they did over here. So you'll notice that they kind of, I don't know if this rock was naturally here, and they kind of used it to sort of form part of the channel. But you'll notice that the bottom end of the culvert is just completely buried. It gives you an indication of the age, so considerably, considerable age, very, very old. You can see kind of what they've done with the rock work on the top here. So you can see as they've done some careful work here, stacking the rock on top, trying to form a nice, neat little opening here. I'm guessing that water probably still flows through here at times of the year. You can see the channel is pretty dry. Obviously, this whole culvert from one end to the other is not in particularly good shape. But again, it's been 30 years, and so a lot happens in that time. Okay, let's jump back up on the grade. Here we go again. Again, kind of neat to see the concrete culvert. I haven't seen one of those on this line before. Again, you can see how high we are up. It's way down there. 1528 according to the GPS. So we've come up about 80 feet since we started this ride, I think. Can't remember exactly what the number was when we started. We've got another rock cut coming up. Shocking. There's another big one here. So this one appears, it's big, and it appears that it does appear that they took the whole piece of the rock cut off. I don't know, that's what it looks like. See the marker there that tells us the bridge is coming up. We got another little bridge to take a look at. So here, I don't know, You got to be 20 feet up there or close to it. And again, it does appear that this, just by the nature of the rock, this was taken right off, all of it. You can see there's a little bit here on the west side, but mostly on the east side. And again, you can see the trees just growing right out of the top of the rock. So again, probably pushing close to 20 feet here. So again, just an extensive amount of work to build this railway line. See a little bit more here on the west side. And so it's kind of low here and continues on. Oh, partridge. Where the heck is she going? So you can see the rock work continues here. It's not particularly high. It's maybe about 6 feet or so, maybe a little bit less. So here's kind of neat. Obviously this was replaced. I don't know if there was originally a culvert in here, but you can see somebody's put a corrugated plastic one in there. So quite modern. And then you can see some low rock work here, probably in that, I don't know, 3 to 4 foot range. And then our next feature is literally right here. So the rock work comes to an end. You can see there's a big kind of swamp here. And so what we have is we have the tiniest of bridge crossings here. So obviously we have a creek that flows underneath the grade. I don't know how, let's kind of guess here. 12 feet, something like that, right? Not particularly big. But what is neat, you can see basically the creek has been dammed up by the beaver. You can see that how very little water there is. What's neat is that this thing's been made out of concrete. And so just again, a tiny little bridge, but you can see the deterioration of the wood on the sides of it. But yeah, this one was made out of concrete. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump down and go take a look at it. Okay, so we're down here on the southwest side of the creek. You can basically see the structure here. It's a pretty simplistic thing. It's just basically a big slab of concrete. As you can see, there's little abutments over here that it's resting on. You can see the size of the span. Again, it's not particularly large. You can see the date stamp very, very clearly. It's not particularly high. Maybe it's 5 feet at the most. Very, very little clearance with the creek underneath. I'm sure when the water is up, it's basically touching the underside. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop our way around to this side here. You can see the, again, you can see the beaver dam here that's blocking up some of the water. Again, it helps that it's quite dry. So you can see things here on this side. You can see there's a tie right across. You're kind of partially obscuring the date stamp. So again, not sure what originally was here. I can see a little bit of woodwork down there. So it may very well have been, and the dog's got to get in there like a dirty shirt, may have very well been a sort of a little wood trestle. But obviously it was replaced, 1960 now, so we're going on 64 years. Okay, so let's jump back up on the grade and resume our westward journey.